Well, hi there, warm welcome. You're watching Blueprint Explosive Exclusive and I'm Meghna Dekha. Well, the world as we know it is fast changing. The 2 to 3 week war on Iran is on its 5th week now. The Strait of Hormuz is completely tangled and President Trump's deadline is coming to an end again for the 3rd, 4th or perhaps the 5th time. Anyways, it is definitely coming to an end. So as we try to make sense of the world, joining us today is the unreal Donald Trump. Welcome so much to the show, Mr. Trump. It's important that we understand your take on it all. Your deadline to Iran is coming to an end. So, Mr. Trump, you say you've won the war, but also that you're winning the war, that you need help to win the war, that you don't need help to win the war. So where are we with the whole war thing?
We're winning. And that's the most important thing, Meghna. We're winning. We've won it. We've winning it in reverse. We're kind of winning it and then unwinning it, winning it again. But we're on track because we're winning. And that's all that matters. It's very important that your viewers know that we're winning. And if we're not winning, we're winning still.
Still winning. Well, you have been asking the Iranians to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranian embassies have put out posts where they say they've lost the keys. Do you believe them? Or do you think they are bluffing?
Well, you know, they can do all sorts of things now to find keys. They can put little tags on them, you know, and they can just go on their computer and they can say, there's your keys. You left them at the side of the ocean, just left a bit near the sand dune, you know, or they could be underwater and they can send a little sort of, you know, little bots down under the water. They go underwater with the little helmets on and they can find them. There's the keys. I got them. I found the keys to the strait. And let's be straight about the straits. There's a strait or straits. People say it's the straits. It's one strait. And we got to be straight lined. We've got to have the deadline, the straight line to the Strait of Hormuz. And we got to talk straight. That's why you hear me swearing all the time. Because that's the only language I know. It's got to be vulgar. Straight talking, street talking on the Strait of Hormuz talking.
That is some straight talk there, Mr. Trump. Well, you said, I'm going to quote you here from your post. Open the beep beep straight, you crazy, beep beep. Now, all the missiles and drones that you've been firing towards Iran, but that really must have hurt the Ayatollah.
Well, he's obviously, if he's hurt by the way I talk, he's obviously got the woke mind virus. You know, it's tough talking. It's probably unpresidential. I don't think there's ever been a president, you know, who's ever spoken like that in public. It's a very new way of dealing with things. But this is uncharted territory. We got to speak in the way that people speak on the streets. Otherwise, you know, what's the point of throwing drones at them, you know? You've got to fight fire with words. You know, the pen is mightier than the sword, but he's got the woke mind virus. So it doesn't matter what I say. He's going to be very touched by it, I think.
Yes, I think he would be very touched by it. You're absolutely right, President Trump. Well, you say that you are going to bomb Iran into the Stone Age. Do you think you are the best nominee for a Nobel Peace Prize still?
Well, I don't need a Nobel Peace Prize. And, you know, a lot of people say I'm the Nobel and Peace Prize guy. But I got the FIFA prize. You know, I'm the FIFA Peace Prize winning president, you know. And, you know, and that's good enough for me because all those billions of dollars, it's all about the money. And as we know, FIFA make their soccer matches so easy for people to watch. You know, there's people paying $90,000 to watch Christmas Island playing, I don't know, Greenland. It's a very overpriced world we're living in, and that's exactly what I want. If I win a peace prize, it's got to be FIFA because there's money attached to that. Nobel, what's that all about? The doorbell, Nobel. I don't care. FIFA's the one for me. That's the one everybody watches.
And at the end of it, even if you don't win it, you can always take it. And I like that straight approach of yours. Well, the NATO nations, however, it appears that they don't like you too much, at least not as much as your golfing buddies do. Why do you think that is?
Well, because they can't play golf. You know, they're very below par. I mean, I'm the most below par guy you could meet, but there's this another below par. They're bunker level below par. NATO is they're clowns. They're onside, they're offside. They don't know what they're doing. They're not behind me, and they don't have a great drive. You got to have a great drive, and I'm the intercourse champion. Golf. It's I'm very, very powerful on my swing, and these guys aren't. They don't know what they're doing.
Talking about swings, it appears that there are very few people on your side. Is Prime Minister Netanyahu on your side? He seems to be the only one who's right there next to you, your caddy.
He's my caddy. He's a great guy, BB. We talk a lot. He's a good golfer as well. Some of the putts are not so great, but he's got a long drive too. It's the long drive. It's a long game. That's what we're playing. It's a long game. We don't know where the balls are going, but it's several 100,000 yards. That's for sure.
Well, initially you said it's going to be a short game, but yeah, it seems to be a long game. You're absolutely right. Well, you talk a lot about the French president, Macron. And you said about him that his wife treats him so extremely badly that he's still recovering from the right to the jaw. Why
That's
do you
right. She
dislike him?
He married. She's got a very strong right hook. She's an Olympian. She's a boxer. She's an animal, really. And he's so inelegant to use his words like liberté, égalité, fraternité. I mean, what does that mean? It's like they're models of Peugeot cars. Speak English. We need to know what you're talking about. He makes no sense whatsoever. And I basically want him to step up and be the tough guy he always should and could have been,
There are some people who say that you don't like him simply because he wears his blue aviators better than you do.
Well, mine cover up very much my face, which is no bad thing. There's a lot of orange there, The reflection they light up the street at night when I walk home. I don't even need to wear them, My face is glowing, but he's trying to look like some 70s biker cop guy. It's very bizarre. They don't suit him at all. He should wear little horn-rimmed glasses, like some sort of intellectual guy in a library. They don't suit him. They're bigger than his head.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe he's not as lucky when it comes to love and marriage as you are, President Trump, it appears.
Well, that's true. That's true. He married his own grandmother. So what can I say about that?
Well, you, of course, have struck it very lucky, but we'll have to wait and see if Iran's going to be striking luck as well. Your deadline's coming to an end. Let's see how that's going to pan out in the war that isn't with the unreal Donald Trump. But also joining us now is your friend now, Elon Musk, the world's wealthiest person. So let me go across to the unreal Elon Musk. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy because, I'm on Indian television and it's a wonderful country. And the Artemis astronauts go around the dark side of the moon. It's a very important day, Tuesday, and I want to be there to see them come out the other side.
They've gone to the dark side. Have you too?
Oh, no, I don't know what that means. I mean, that's like a quote from a Star Wars movie, but I'm pretty much a cool guy, and I'm all about the technology and making people move forward in time and getting us to sort of set up colonies on other worlds. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's got the spirit of exploration and all the famous explorers. That's how I am. I'm an explorer.
Well, yes, your Starship also aims to be exploring quite a bit. I believe it wants to put humans on Mars. Why? Many are asking why. Are we running out of spaces on Earth? Because your friend Donald Trump said Greenland, the big block of ice, well, a lot of that still has a lot of place in there. Why Mars?
Because it's got a beautiful sunset. I think, it's very rich in minerals, and I think it's very similar. And I think with just a little bit of terraforming, or at least from the films I've watched growing up, like Total Recall, you could do anything with the skyline. You can oxygenate Mars very, very easily. And I think it's just an exciting prospect, just to basically go out and, go boldly, as Buzz Aldrin once said, and explore other worlds. I think it's a great thing.
Well, if you say so. You and President Trump, you seem to have this love me not kind of relationship. What's your current situationship with President Trump?
Well, let me step in here just for a second. I think Elon is a very cool guy. Melania is terrified of him. I think she finds him a little bit strange. She thinks he's a robot. Mm-hmm. She thinks he's one of his robots. I'm here to basically say that I'm not a robot. I'm actually real. And I think Optimus should be in everybody's home. I think they're terrifying, and they're quite expensive. If they come down in price, maybe I'll get one. But Melania certainly won't. She doesn't like it at all. She doesn't like the idea of just one robot in the house is enough. Just Baron's 8'5". It's a big guy. Just imagine Optimus siding up to a Baron. It could get scary.
Well, yes, it is very scary at times when I think about it. Well, in fact, you have been very generous. You have offered Mr. Elon Musk to give free legal cover and support to the victims of the Epstein files. However, you did ask Epstein to organize the wildest party for you. Whose side are you on?
I think this is all, it's all crazy hearsay and everything else. I think it's disgusting. I think it's vile, and any party that I would get invited to, I would usually go. So if there's no record of it, then I think they should just let pylons be pylons.
Should we send these files, the Epstein files, to the dark side of the moon? Do you think where they are best placed?
Oh, no, I think everybody should see them. I think they should be out there. And everybody needs to know how horrific these people are. Unbelievably so. I think everybody needs to see them. Unredacted.
Unredacted. Okay. Very interesting. When we are talking about unredacted, let's also talk about what's happening in the political spectrum. Now, the third guest that we have on the show, big names coming in today, the unreal Tucker Carlson. He is, of course, an American conservative political activist and a commentator. Thank you so much for joining us here on Times Now, Mr. Carlson. Well, you've decided to have a go at President Trump for his explicit-laden comments. You said that Trump will be living in hell. Abusers to counter abusers. Is that reverse psychology?
I think that what we saw is probably one of the most inelegant speeches ever made by a president. We saw it last year when he announced that Israel and all the fighting, they don't know what they're doing. I think it's pretty much the wrong kind of rhetoric and dialogue for a president to be having. It's pretty terrifying, really. It's not becoming of the office of president. That's why people are so shocked. It's disgraceful language. He doesn't need to do it. Why do it? I don't know why he does it.
Yeah, it's surprising because you yourself are getting hell from Trump supporters online. They've called you a national security threat. They've called you a woke leftist when you're known for being a rightist. Which one are you?
I'm a broadcaster. I basically comment on the news. Isn't that what it's all about? Aren't these guys just meant to do? Aren't we meant to just be allowed to do our jobs? To comment on the news, whether we see it's right or wrong? To have an opinion about it? Is the very notion of having an opinion about anything just becoming in itself an aggravation? I don't think so. I don't think it's fair.
What's not fair? Well, love and war. That's what's not fair. Well, thank you so much. So much. Should I say Mr. Trump, Mr. Musk, or Mr. Carlson? Either ways, this was, ladies and gentlemen, Lewis MacLeod. A big round of applause for him because you were absolutely brilliant, Mr. MacLeod. A Scottish actor, a political satirist, but more importantly, a human being on earth. And you call things the way you see it. But do you fear now that we are in the midst of this war? Is the 39th day that reality is getting stranger, that comedy, that you may be out of a job soon with, the top politicians of the world?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there was a thing on Instagram just the other day that suggested that Trump was being rushed to hospital, and there was nothing on the news about it. We have to be very careful about what we see and say, and also what gets reported as truth. When the news comes in from what we receive here, I'm in France, but in the UK, it's often with Trump coming from his Truth Social platform. Yes. And when the news came in that he had this expletive-laden post, everybody was shocked because it's just unbelievable that a president would speak like that. And to sign it off with such comments that just looked like sarcasm, I don't understand why he would do that. When on the other side of the coin, he's saying that he's a peace-loving guy and this is all for peace so that we don't have nuclear weapons coming from Iran and that there's a broader, more peaceable approach to it. This just seems to undermine him slightly in a big way. I feel very strongly that the office of president should have an elegance to it and that this is not the case.
Do you think the political discourse itself is changing with the likes of President Trump now coming into the fray? For example, someone like you, a political satirist, is it harder or is it easier for you to do what you do, that too with Trump?
Well, I don't really write much of my material. We've got writers, and the clip that went viral in India was written by Ian Hislop, who is one of the world's best. And so it's a real privilege to read his material. And so when I read Trump on the shows I work on, Dead Ringers for the BBC is a show that I work on. We have lots of different writers and they're all very experienced satirists. And they know politics better than anybody. And so they're best qualified to write for the character. And this is something that we have the privilege of, is just reading regularly their thoughts as the news comes in. But it does happen so fast that it's sometimes, if you record something, 2 days later, it's out of date. It's no longer relevant.
You're absolutely right about that. For example, we are speaking to you right now in the evening. We don't even know what's going to happen by morning when President Trump's deadline to Iran comes to an end. But appreciate it, Mr. Lewis MacLeod. Hopefully you've enjoyed your little stint that we are giving you an exposure to the Indian audience, because at the end of it, the world is coming together, isn't it?
And it was lovely to speak to you and to hear as well that there's a MacLeod Ganj.
Yes, welcome to MacLeod Ganj. When you come here, we'll be happy to host you here. With that, we are going to be wrapping up this bulletin, because at the end of it, let's hope that perhaps you, the audience, could make a little bit more semblance of what's happening around you, because honestly, everyone is thinking this is fodder for political satire on a platter when you have this kind of a war happening. With that, we wrap up the show. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.